I was standing in the bridal suite, looking at myself in the mirror, when my phone rang. The screen lit up with his name. David. My fiancé. The man I was supposed to marry in exactly 3 hours. My hand started shaking before I even answered. Babe, I need you to stay calm, okay? Just stay calm. Those words. I knew. Before he said anything else, I knew something was wrong. This feeling in my stomach, this dropping sensation, I'd felt it before. There's been an emergency. My dad, he's in the hospital. Heart attack. They're doing emergency surgery right now. We have to postpone the wedding. I looked at myself in the mirror. Full makeup, professionally done. Hairstyled in the complicated updo I'd practiced 3 times with the hairstylist. Behind me, my dress hung on a special padded hanger, the one my best friend Kate had bought me specifically for today. Downstairs in the venue, 200 guests were already arriving. I could hear cars pulling up, voices floating through the window. The caterer had texted me 20 minutes ago confirming everything was ready. The band was setting up in the ballroom. David, the wedding is in 3 hours. 3 hours. I know. I know. I'm so sorry. But it's my dad, Sarah. He collapsed this morning. They rushed him to County General. I'm here right now. The doctors are saying it doesn't look good. I could hear beeping in the background. Hospital sounds. The distinctive overhead announcement system. Dr. Morrison to the ICU. Dr. Morrison to the ICU. It all sounded so real. So legitimate. Is he going to be okay? What are the doctors saying exactly? They don't know yet. They're doing tests. Sarah, I can't get married today while my dad might be dying. You understand that, right? We have to postpone. What was I supposed to say? No, marry me anyway while your father is having emergency heart surgery? What kind of monster would that make me? Of course we have to postpone. Of course. Should I come to the hospital? No, no. My mom's here, Michelle's on her way. We're handling it. You just start making calls, okay? Tell people what happened. I'm so sorry to put this on you. I'm so sorry. Don't apologize. It's your dad. Family comes first. Just keep me updated, okay? Tell him I'm thinking about him. I will. I love you so much. Thank you for understanding. He hung up. I stood there holding my phone, my reflection staring back at me. Behind me, Kate walked in carrying my bouquet, took one look at my face, and stopped. What happened? His dad had a heart attack. We're postponing. That was the first time. And I believed him completely. How could I not? It was his father. A medical emergency. These things happen. Life happens. You can't plan for everything. I didn't know it yet, but that phone call changed my life. Just not in the way you'd think. That postponement saved me. But it would take 3 more postponements and 8 months of lies before I understood what I was really being saved from. My name is Sarah Mitchell. Well, it's Sarah Crawford again now. But back then, 3 years ago, I thought I was going to be Sarah Mitchell. I was 32 years old, working as a marketing director for a tech startup, living in Chicago, and planning what I thought would be the perfect wedding to the perfect man. David and I met 2.5 years before that first postponement. I tell people we met at a coffee shop because it's simpler than explaining the whole thing, but the truth is more complicated. More meaningful. At least, I thought it was meaningful at the time. I was at Stella's Coffee on a Thursday afternoon, absolutely panicking. My laptop had frozen in the middle of a huge presentation I had to deliver the next morning. Not just frozen, completely crashed. Blue screen of death. Everything I'd worked on for 3 weeks was on that laptop and I hadn't backed it up because I'm an idiot who always thinks I have more time. I was near tears, frantically Googling how to fix blue screen on my phone, when someone sat down across from me. I looked up ready to tell whoever. It was that the table was taken, but the words died in my throat. He was gorgeous. I don't mean normal attractive. I mean the kind of handsome that makes you forget what you were about to say. Dark hair, perfect smile, eyes that were somehow both brown and gold in the coffee shop lighting. I don't mean to intrude, he said, his voice warm and genuinely concerned, but I couldn't help noticing your laptop situation. I'm pretty good with computers. Would you like some help? I should have said no. I grew up in a city. I knew stranger danger. I knew you don't let random men near your laptop with all your work files and personal information. But something about him felt safe. Trustworthy. And I was desperate. If you can fix this, I will buy you coffee for life. He laughed. Let's see what we're working with first. He fixed it. I don't even know how. Something about recovery mode and system restore. Within 15 minutes, my presentation was back and he'd shown me how to set up automatic cloud backup so it would never happen again. You're a lifesaver. Seriously. I owe you everything. Coffee, definitely coffee. Lunch? Dinner? My firstborn child? He laughed again. How about just your phone number? I gave it to him without hesitation. Something I've never done before. Never been the kind of person who gives her number to strangers in coffee shops. But he didn't feel like a stranger. He texted me that night. I know this is forward, but I can't stop thinking about you. Dinner tomorrow? We had dinner the next night at this Italian place in Lincoln Park. Talked for 4 hours. He told me he was an architect, worked for a firm downtown, designed primarily commercial buildings. He'd grown up in the suburbs, had a sister named Michelle, parents who'd been married 35 years. He loved hiking and bad action movies and Thai food. I told him about my job, my apartment, my best friend Kate who I'd known since college. Told him about losing my parents in a car accident when I was 25 and how I was still figuring out how to be an adult without them. He reached across the table and squeezed my hand. I'm so sorry. That must have been incredibly hard. And the way he said it, I knew he meant it. Not the performative sympathy people usually give. Real empathy. Real understanding. We went out again 2 nights later. And the night after that. Within 2 weeks, we were basically inseparable. David was everything I'd been looking for without knowing I was looking for it. He was attentive without being clingy. He remembered little things I said in passing and would bring them up weeks later. He planned thoughtful dates, not expensive necessarily, but personal. A picnic in Grant Park because I'd mentioned loving people watching. A pottery class because I'd said I'd always wanted to try it. He sent good morning texts. He called when he said he would call. He introduced me to his friends, his coworkers. He wanted to integrate me into his life and let me integrate him into mine. Kate was skeptical at first. Nobody's this perfect. What's wrong with him? Secret gambling addiction? Still married? Serial killer? He's just a good guy. They exist. I've literally never met one. But okay. I'm watching him. A month in, he took me to meet his parents. We drove out to their house in Naperville on a Sunday afternoon. I was so nervous I changed outfits 3 times and made Kate talk me through my entire wardrobe. Just be yourself, Kate said. If they don't like you, they're crazy. His parents' house was beautiful. Not mansion beautiful, but warm and lived in. Family photos everywhere. His mom, Patricia, answered the door with the biggest smile. Sarah. Oh, David's told us so much about you. I'm so glad he finally found someone special. Come in, come in. She hugged me like we were already family. Led me into the kitchen where something smelled amazing. David's dad, Robert, was at the stove making his famous marinara sauce. Famous in this house anyway, he said, shaking my hand with a firm but friendly grip. Nice to meet you. Sarah. David says you work in tech. We talked for hours. Robert was an accountant, Patricia was a retired teacher. They'd met in college, married young, built this life together. They were sweet with each other in that way long married couples are, finishing each other's sentences, inside jokes, comfortable silences. David's sister Michelle was there too. She was quieter than the rest of the family. Polite but reserved. She smiled when I talked but didn't ask many questions. I figured she was just protective of her brother. Some siblings are like that. Don't mind Michelle, Patricia whispered to me while we were setting the table. She's always been slow to warm up to people. Give her time. I tried. Every time I saw Michelle over the next few months, I made an effort. Asked about her work, she was a graphic designer, complimented her clothes, tried to find common ground. She was never rude exactly. Just distant. Like there was a wall between us she had no intention of tearing down. But David's parents loved me. Patricia called me every few weeks just to chat. Robert would text me terrible dad jokes. They treated me like I was already part of the family. Everything felt perfect. Too perfect, maybe. But I'd learned from my parents' death that life is short and unpredictable. When you find something good, you hold on to it. You don't question it to death. You just appreciate it. 6 months in, David started talking about the future. Where we'd live eventually. How many kids we wanted. What we'd name them. I know that sounds fast, but it didn't feel fast. It felt natural. Like we were both on the same page about everything. 8 months in, he took me to Italy. Said he'd always wanted to go and wanted his first time to be with me. We spent 10 days eating amazing food and seeing incredible art and just being completely in love. On our last night, we were at this tiny restaurant in Positano. It was built into a cliff overlooking the Amalfi Coast. The sun was setting, turning everything golden pink and orange. It looked like a painting. Like something too beautiful to be real. We'd just finished dinner when David stood up. Got down on one knee. The entire restaurant went silent. Sarah, from the moment I saw you struggling with that laptop, I knew you were going to change my life. And you have. Every single day with you is better than the day before. You're my best friend, my partner, the person I want to tell everything to. You're funny and smart and kind and you make me want to be better than I am. Will you marry me? The ring was beautiful. Art Deco style, exactly what I would have chosen if I'd been picking it myself. Because he'd been paying attention. To what jewelry I wore. What I pointed out in store windows. What I pinned on Pinterest boards I thought he couldn't see. I said yes. Obviously. How could I not? This was the fairy tale. The rom-com ending. The happy ever after. Everyone was thrilled. Kate threw me an engagement party. Patricia cried and hugged me and said she'd always wanted a daughter. Robert gave David this proud father look that made me wish my own dad was still alive to do the same. Even Michelle seemed happy, or at least not unhappy. She congratulated us, helped Patricia plan the engagement party, was polite and appropriate throughout everything. We set a date. 8 months out. June wedding. I'd always wanted a June wedding. Outdoor ceremony if weather permitted, beautiful old mansion venue with gardens for photos, everything romantic and elegant and perfect. The planning was actually fun. David was involved in every decision, which apparently is rare. He had opinions about flowers. He cared about the music. He wanted specific readings during the ceremony. His mom helped too, offering to pay for part of the wedding since my parents were gone and I didn't have family to contribute. Your family now, Patricia said. Let us do this. I cried. Hugged her. Felt grateful that even though I'd lost my parents, I was gaining this whole other family who loved me. 3 weeks before the wedding. Everything was set. Dress altered and ready. Invitation sent. RSVPs all in. Menu finalized. Flowers ordered. Band confirmed. I'd taken the week off work to handle last-minute details. I was at the venue doing a final walkthrough with the wedding coordinator when my phone rang. David. Hey. I'm at the venue. Everything looks amazing. You should see I need to talk to you about something. My stomach dropped. That tone. I knew that tone. What's wrong? It's my dad. He's sick. Really sick. They found something in his blood work and they're doing more tests this week, but the doctor thinks it might be serious. Serious how? Like cancer serious? Maybe. They don't know yet. But my mom's losing it and I can't get married while my dad might be dying. I just can't. We need to postpone. I sat down on one of the venue chairs, suddenly dizzy. David, the wedding is in 3 weeks. We've paid for almost everything. I know. I know. And I feel terrible. But I can't stand at an altar and promise forever while my dad is in a hospital bed. I can't smile for photos and cut a cake while my family's falling apart. You understand, right? What was I supposed to say? No, your father's potential cancer is less important than our wedding? No, I can't possibly postpone even though your family is in crisis. Of course I understand. What do the doctors say exactly? What are the next steps? More tests this week. Results next week. Then we'll know what we're dealing with. Can we push the wedding back a month? Just until we know what's happening? A month seemed reasonable. The venue might be available. We'd lose some deposits but not everything. And it was his father. His family. Of course we had to postpone. Okay. 1 month. Let me talk to the coordinator. You're amazing. I love you so much. I'm sorry to put you through this. Don't apologize. Family comes first. Always. I spent the rest of the day calling vendors. The venue had an opening 6 weeks out, not 4, so we pushed it back to mid-July instead of June. Lost the deposit on the flowers because they couldn't reschedule. Lost money on the invitations because we had to print new ones with the updated date. But most vendors were understanding. These things happen. Families get sick. Life doesn't pause for wedding planning. I called everyone on the guest list personally. Explained the situation. Everyone was sympathetic. Of course you postpone. Family is everything. We'll be there whenever you reschedule. Kate was the only one who seemed hesitant. That's awful about his dad. But also, 3 weeks before the wedding? That's really last minute. It's a medical emergency. What was he supposed to do, wait until after the wedding to tell me his dad might have cancer? No, of course not. I don't know. Something feels off. Nothing's off. His dad is sick. We postponed. That's it. But I said it too defensively. Because some tiny part of me was wondering too. Not about David, I trusted him completely, but about timing. About whether this could have been handled differently. About whether we really had to postpone the entire wedding or if there was another option. I pushed those thoughts away. They felt selfish and cruel. This wasn't about me or the wedding. It was about David's father and his family and a health crisis. I needed to be supportive, not suspicious. David's dad's test results came back 2 weeks later. He called me from his parents' house, sounding relieved and exhausted. It's not cancer. False alarm. His numbers were off because of some medication interaction. They adjusted his prescriptions and he's fine. Oh, thank God. That's such good news. I know. We're all so relieved. My mom's been a wreck. But he's okay. Everything's okay. So the wedding is still on for July. I know it's not the June wedding you wanted, but July will be beautiful too. Maybe even better. Warmer weather, better for outdoor photos. He was right. And at least it was only a 6-week delay, not months or years. We could handle 6 weeks. The new wedding date approached. Everything was reorganized. New invitation sent. New menu selected. The July options were slightly different from June. New flowers chosen, different blooms were in season. I'd had to go back for another dress fitting because I'd lost weight from stress and the alterations needed adjusting. But it was all coming together. The venue looked beautiful when I did my July walkthrough. The weather forecast was perfect. Everyone had confirmed they could make the new date. I took the week off work again. Prepared for last-minute details, the rehearsal dinner, all of it. 5 days before the wedding, David came over looking terrible. Pale, exhausted, like he hadn't slept in days. What's wrong? Is it your dad again? No, Dad's fine. It's work. There's a huge problem with the Thompson project. You know the one I've been working on for months? I did. He'd talked about it endlessly. A major commercial development downtown. His first time leading a project this size. Huge opportunity for his career. What kind of problem? The client is threatening to pull out. Says the designs don't match what they wanted. My boss is furious. The whole firm is scrambling. They need me to fly to Chicago this week to meet with the client and fix this. This week? David, we're getting married on Saturday. I know. I know. But if I don't go, if I don't fix this, I could lose my job. The firm could lose millions. This is my career, Sarah. Our future. The job that's going to support us, pay for our house someday, our kids' college. He looked genuinely distressed. Eyes red like he'd been crying. Hands shaking. I'd never seen him like this. How long would you be gone? 3 days. Maybe 4. I'd fly out Monday, meet with the client Tuesday and Wednesday, fly back Thursday or Friday at the latest. The rehearsal dinner is Friday night. I know. I'll make it back. I promise. I'll be on the first flight Friday morning. But if something goes wrong, if the meetings run long or the flight gets delayed. I could see where this was going. You want to postpone again? I don't want to. I hate this. But I can't risk losing my job right before we get married. And I can't be present at the wedding if I'm worried about work. Maybe we should push it back 2 weeks. Just to be safe. Give me time to handle this without the wedding looming over everything. 2 weeks turned into 4 because the venue wasn't available sooner. We rescheduled everything. Again. Lost more deposits. I had to call everyone. Again. This time, people were less understanding. Again? Wow, that's rough. Hope this is the last postponement. Are you guys sure about this wedding? Maybe it's a sign. 3rd time's the charm, right? Kate was more direct. Sarah, this is weird. 2 postponements is a lot. It's not his fault. First his dad was sick, now there's this work crisis. These things happen. I know, but I don't know. Something feels off. Nothing's off. You're being paranoid. Am I? Think about it. 3 weeks before the wedding, his dad gets sick. 5 days before the rescheduled wedding, work emergency. What are the odds? Life happens, Kate. Not everything is a conspiracy. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm just saying it's strange. Have you verified any of this? Like, called his dad to see how he's feeling? Or talked to his boss about the work thing? No, because I'm not a paranoid person who doesn't trust her fiancé. We fought about it. Actually fought. Kate said I was being naive. I said she was being unsupportive. We didn't talk for 3 days. David went to Chicago. Was gone for a full week. Called me every night sounding exhausted but said the meetings were going well. He was fixing things. Everything would be okay. He came back looking triumphant. We saved the project. Clients happy. Boss is happy. Everything's good now. Nothing's going to get in the way of the wedding this time. I wanted to believe him. Needed to believe him. Because the alternative, that Kate was right, that something was wrong, was too terrible to consider. The third wedding date approached. August now. Not the June wedding I'd originally dreamed of, but that was okay. We'd have our day. Finally. I was more anxious this time. Kept waiting for something to go wrong. Checked my phone constantly expecting bad news. Had nightmares about last-minute cancellations. But everything seemed fine. David was present, excited, involved in final preparations. We had our last dance lesson. Finalized the seating chart. Confirmed with all the vendors for the third time. 2 weeks before the wedding, I was at work trying to focus on a presentation when I got a text from David. "Can you come home early? We need to talk." My blood went cold. I knew that phrasing. I knew what "we need to talk" meant. I told my boss I was sick and left immediately. Drove home probably breaking every traffic law. Found David sitting on our couch looking devastated. What happened? Is it your dad again? Another work crisis? It's Michelle. Michelle? What about Michelle? She's in trouble. Bad trouble. I can't really talk about the details because it's private family stuff, but she needs support right now. Needs me. Needs the family. And I don't think I can go through with the wedding while she's going through this crisis. What kind of crisis? I told you, I can't talk about it. It's Michelle's private information. But it's serious. Really serious. And she's falling apart. Can't you support her and still get married? The wedding is in 2 weeks. Everything's planned. Everyone's confirmed. I know. But I need to be fully present for Michelle right now. She needs me available, not distracted by wedding stuff. And I can't enjoy our day knowing my sister is suffering. I felt like I was losing my mind. So we postpone again? For the third time? Just until Michelle's stable. A month, maybe 6 weeks. I know it's not ideal, not ideal? David, people are going to think we're never actually getting married. This is the third postponement. I know. Don't you think I know that? But what am I supposed to do? Abandon my sister when she needs me? Get married while she's in crisis? What kind of brother would that make me? He had a point. If I had a sibling going through something serious, I'd want to be there for them too. But I didn't have a sibling. Didn't have parents. I had David and his family, and they kept postponing the day I officially became part of that family. What's wrong with Michelle exactly? I told you, I can't talk about it. It's personal. Private. Family business. I'm about to be family. His expression changed. Got hard in a way I'd rarely seen. You're not family yet, Sarah. And this isn't your business. It's Michelle's private crisis, and I'm not going to betray her trust just because you're curious. I'm not curious. I'm concerned. And I'm your fiancé. Don't I have a right to know what's affecting our wedding? Our future? It's not affecting our future. It's affecting the timing. That's all. The timing that keeps getting pushed back. 3 times now, David. 3 times we've postponed this wedding. I know. And I'm sorry. But what do you want me to do? Tell Michelle her crisis isn't important enough? Tell my family their problems don't matter because we have a wedding to get to? No, that's not what I'm saying. Then what are you saying? Because it sounds like you're saying I should prioritize our wedding over my sister's well-being. We were fighting. Actually fighting. Something we rarely did. His voice was raised. Mine was raised. We were saying things we didn't mean or maybe did mean but shouldn't say. I'm saying that maybe there's a way to support your sister without postponing our entire wedding for the third time. And I'm saying there isn't. This is the decision I'm making. We're postponing. If you can't support that, if you can't understand that my family needs me right now, then maybe we have bigger problems than wedding dates. The threat hung in the air. Maybe we have bigger problems. As in, maybe we shouldn't get married at all. I backed down. Because the alternative was losing him entirely. Okay. Okay. We'll postpone. Of course we'll support Michelle. I'm sorry for making it about me. His expression softened immediately. I'm sorry too. I'm sorry for snapping. I'm just stressed. Michelle's situation is really hard and I'm trying to be strong for her and for my parents and also plan this wedding and work and everything else. I didn't mean to take it out on you. It's okay. We're both stressed. How long do you think we need? Before Michelle's stable enough? I don't know. A month? 6 weeks? Let me talk to my parents and see what they think. We postponed the wedding again. This time for 8 weeks because I refused to reschedule until we had a date we were absolutely certain about. I called everyone. The venue, the caterer, the band, the photographer, the florist, everyone on the guest list. Again. People were starting to get weird about it. Wow, 4th time's the charm? Is everything okay with you guys? Let us know when there's actually going to be a wedding. One of David's cousins called me directly. Sarah, I'm sorry to be blunt, but I'm not booking a flight and hotel room until you're actually at the altar. I've rescheduled vacation time 3 times now. I understand. I'm sorry. This should be the last time. But I wasn't sure I believed it anymore. Kate stopped commenting. Just gave me this look every time I mentioned the wedding. Pity mixed with concern mixed with I told you so. You can say it, I said over drinks one night. Say what? That you think something's wrong. That you think David's lying. That you think I'm an idiot for staying with him. She was quiet for a long moment. I don't think you're an idiot. I think you're in love. And love makes us overlook things we'd see clearly in any other situation. You think he's lying. I think 3 postponements is a pattern. And I think you deserve to know what's really going on. He's dealing with family stuff. That's what's going on. Have you seen Michelle recently? Does she seem like someone in crisis? I realized I hadn't seen Michelle in weeks. She'd stopped coming to family dinners. Stopped answering my texts. David said she was busy dealing with her situation and didn't want to see people. No. But David says she's not seeing anyone right now. What about his parents? What do they say about Michelle's crisis? I haven't asked. Why not? Because it feels invasive. Like I'm going behind David's back to check his story. Maybe you should go behind his back. Maybe his story needs checking. I didn't want to believe that. Didn't want to be that person who didn't trust her partner. Who verified everything he said. Who treated him like a suspect instead of the man she loved. But late that night, alone in bed while David was supposedly at his parents' helping with Michelle, I pulled out my laptop. I googled Robert's name and hospital and heart attack. Nothing came up. I searched for David's company and the Thompson Project and the Chicago crisis. Found articles about the project. It was real. It existed. But according to the company website, it had been completed 8 months ago. Long before our second postponement. My hand started shaking. I searched for Michelle's social media. We weren't friends on Facebook, she said she barely used it, but her Instagram was public. I scrolled through recent posts. Pictures of her at brunch with friends. At a concert. On a weekend trip to Milwaukee. She didn't look like someone in crisis. She looked happy. Relaxed. Like someone living a normal life. I found a post from 3 weeks ago. Michelle at a restaurant, tagged with location and time. The caption, amazing dinner at Stella's with the girls. 3 weeks ago was the night David said he had to stay with Michelle because she was having a breakdown. I screenshot the post. Stared at it. Tried to come up with an explanation that made sense. Maybe she went out for a few hours to take her mind off things. Maybe the crisis was intermittent. Maybe I was reading too much into one Instagram post. But my hands were still shaking. My heart was still racing. I checked the date on another post. 2 months ago. Michelle at a wedding, beautiful dress, big smile. The date was the weekend David said he had to fly to Chicago for work. More screenshots. I went back through her Instagram methodically. Found posts that contradicted almost everything David had told me about where he was and what he was doing. The night of our first postponement, when his dad supposedly had a heart attack, Michelle had posted a photo from a bar. Out with the crew. Best Friday ever. Her father had supposedly been in emergency surgery and she was out drinking with friends. I felt sick. Physically sick. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. When I came back, I stared at my laptop screen. All these screenshots. All this evidence that something was very, very wrong. I should confront David immediately. Show him the posts. Demand an explanation. But some instinct told me to wait. To gather more information first. Because if he was lying about this, what else was he lying about? And why? I needed to know the truth. The whole truth. Before I confronted him and gave him a chance to explain it away. I texted Kate. You were right. Something's wrong. Can you come over tomorrow? She responded immediately. On my way over now. It's midnight. I don't care. Are you okay? No. She arrived 20 minutes later with wine and determination. I showed her everything. The Google searches. The Instagram posts. The timeline of lies. I knew it, she said, but there was no satisfaction in her voice. Just anger. I knew something was off. But why would he lie? About his dad's heart attack? About the work trip? About Michelle being in crisis? Why make up all of this? I don't know. But we're going to find out. For everyone still watching, hit that subscribe button right now because this story goes to places I never imagined. Leave a comment telling me where you're watching from. I need to know there are people out there who understand how it feels to have your reality completely shattered. Kate and I stayed up until 3 in the morning making a plan. We decided I needed more concrete evidence before confronting David. We needed to figure out what he was really doing when he said he was dealing with family emergencies. The next time he says he's with Michelle or his parents, you're going to follow him, Kate said. Follow him? Like actually spy on my fiancé? He's been lying to you for months. About major things. You have every right to find out the truth. She was right. But it still felt wrong. Still felt like a betrayal even though he was the one who'd been betraying me. I didn't have to wait long. 2 days later, David texted me, have to stay late at work tonight. Big deadline. Don't wait up for me. I'd heard that excuse before. Usually it meant he'd be home by 10 or 11. But now I wondered if it meant something else entirely. I waited until 8, then drove to his office. Parked across the street where I could see the entrance. His car wasn't in the parking lot. I sat there until midnight. He never showed up. I drove home, confused and angry and scared. Where was he? If he wasn't at work, where was he? He came home around 1 in the morning. I pretended to be asleep. Sorry, babe, he whispered, kissing my forehead. Work ran really late. I waited until he was asleep, then checked his phone. I'd never done that before. Had always believed privacy was important in relationships. But desperate times and all that. His phone was locked with a passcode I didn't know. We'd always had open phones before, or so I thought. When had he changed it? I tried his birthday. Wrong. Tried my birthday. Wrong. Tried our anniversary. Wrong. I gave up before he woke up. The next morning, I called his office. Asked to speak to David Mitchell. I'm sorry, he's not in today, the receptionist said. Can I take a message? Oh, is he out sick? No, he took a personal day. Should be back tomorrow. Personal day. He'd told me he was going to work early for a big meeting. I hung up and started crying. I didn't even know what I was crying about specifically. The lies? The betrayal? The fact that my entire relationship might be built on deception? Kate came over. Okay, we're doing this. The next time he goes somewhere, we're following him. Both of us. And we're getting answers. I didn't have to wait long. That afternoon, David texted, "Have to help my mom with some stuff at the house. Be back late tonight." I texted back, "Okay, give her my love." Then I called Patricia. "Hi, it's Sarah. David said he's coming over to help you with something. Do you need me to bring anything?" She sounded confused. "Help me with what?" I haven't talked to David in a few days. My stomach dropped. Oh, I must have misunderstood. Never mind. I hung up and texted Kate, "He's lying again. He said he's going to his mom's but she hasn't heard from him. We're following him." Kate picked me up 15 minutes later. We parked down the street from our apartment and waited. David came out at 6, got in his car, and drove. We followed him. Kate driving, me navigating, both of us terrified of being spotted. He didn't go to his parents' house. Didn't go to Michelle's apartment. Didn't go to his office. He drove to a neighborhood on the other side of the city. Nice area. Tree-lined streets. Expensive-looking apartment buildings. He pulled into the parking lot of one of them. Got out of his car. Went inside. Should we follow him? Kate asked. I don't know. What if he sees us? What if he doesn't and we miss whatever he's doing? We got out of the car and approached the building. It had a security entrance. Residents needed a key fob to get in. We stood outside like creeps, trying to see through the glass doors. There, Kate pointed. David was in the lobby, waiting by the elevator. He looked at his phone, smiled, typed something. The elevator arrived. He got in. We couldn't see which floor he went to. Now what? I asked. We wait. We sat in Kate's car for 2 hours. At 9:30, David came out of the building. He wasn't alone. He was with a woman. She was beautiful. Tall, blonde, elegant in a way I'd never be. They were holding hands. Laughing about something. He kissed her. Right there in the parking lot. Not a quick peck. A real kiss. The kind of kiss that speaks of familiarity. Of intimacy. Of love. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't move. Just sat there watching my fiancé kiss another woman. They separated. She went to a car parked nearby. He went to his car. Follow him or follow her? Kate asked, voice tight with anger. Her. We followed the woman. She drove to another apartment building about 10 minutes away. Went inside. Kate wrote down the address. We'll figure out who she is. We drove back to Kate's place because I couldn't go home. Couldn't face David. Couldn't pretend everything was normal when my entire world had just exploded. I'm so sorry, Kate said, holding me while I cried. I'm so sorry you're going through this. He's cheating on me. All this time, all the postponements, he's been cheating on me. We don't know that for sure yet. Maybe she's a friend. Maybe, friends don't kiss like that. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to help. How long do you think it's been going on? I don't know. But I was starting to piece it together. The first postponement, his dad's fake heart attack, that was 3 weeks before our June wedding. Had he postponed because of her? Because he couldn't marry me while seeing someone else? I spent the night at Kate's. Texted David that I was having a girls' night and would be home tomorrow. He responded with a heart emoji. The audacity of that heart emoji made me furious. The next morning, Kate and I did research. We had the address of the woman's apartment building. Kate called the building's management office, pretended to be from a delivery service, got a name for the unit number. Jennifer Morrison. Unit 304. I googled Jennifer Morrison. Found her LinkedIn. She was a consultant for a financial firm. Went to Northwestern. Looked to be around my age. Her Facebook was more private, but I could see her profile picture. It was her. The woman from the parking lot. What now? Kate asked. I don't know. Confront him? Confront her? Both? You need more information. You need to know how long this has been going on. Whether the postponements were about her. What his endgame is. She was right. I couldn't confront him yet. Needed to know the whole truth first. I did something crazy. I created a fake email account. Sent a message to Jennifer Morrison at her work email. This is going to sound insane, but I need to talk to you about David Mitchell. It's important. Please respond if you get this. I didn't expect her to respond. Why would she? But 2 hours later, I had a reply. Who is this? How did you get my email? I responded, I'm Sarah. David's fiancée. We need to talk. She didn't respond for the rest of the day. I checked my email obsessively. Nothing. Finally, at 11 that night, this is a joke, right? Some kind of prank? Me, I wish it was. David and I are engaged. Have been for almost 2 years. Our wedding has been postponed 4 times now. Can we meet in person? David doesn't have a fiancé. We've been together for 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. The room spun. I thought I was going to be sick again. He proposed to me 18 months ago. In Italy. I have photos. I have the ring. I have invitations to a wedding that was supposed to happen 4 times now. I attached photos. Me and David at our engagement party. Me wearing the ring. One of our postponed wedding invitations. Her response came fast, where do you want to meet? We met the next day at a coffee shop on neutral ground. I got there early, ordered coffee I couldn't drink, and waited. When Jennifer Morrison walked in, I knew her immediately even though I'd only seen her that one time in the parking lot. She looked different in daylight. Tired. Scared. Like she'd been crying. She sat down across from me without saying anything. Just stared. I'm Sarah. I'm Jennifer. Her voice shook. I still don't understand what's happening. How long have you been with David? 3 years. A little over 3 years. We met at a work event. He was charming and funny and we just clicked. We've been together ever since. Living together? For 2 years. We have an apartment downtown. On 5th Street. The address where we'd followed David. My mind was racing. He lives with you? Yes. Well, mostly. He travels for work sometimes. Has late nights at the office. But yes, we live together. He lives with me too. We have an apartment in Lincoln Park. Her face went white. That's impossible. I know. But it's true. I pulled out my phone. Showed her photos of our apartment. David's things. His clothes in the closet. His toothbrush in the bathroom. I don't understand. How is this possible? How can he live in two places? We sat there trying to piece together his schedule. When he told me he was working late, he was with her. When he told her he was traveling for work, he was with me. He'd created this elaborate double life. 2 apartments 3 blocks apart. 2 women who thought they were his only one. The postponements, Jennifer said slowly. You said your wedding was postponed 4 times? Yes. June, then July, then August, then October. June, she repeated. The first weekend in June? Yes. Why? That's the weekend we were supposed to have dinner with my parents. He was going to officially ask my dad for permission to propose. But he had a work emergency. Had to fly to New York. We canceled everything. My first postponement. His dad's fake heart attack. He'd used that to get out of dinner with her parents. July, she continued. Did you reschedule for mid-July? Yes. We were supposed to go ring shopping that month. He kept saying he wanted to make sure he got the perfect ring. But then the project in Chicago came up and he was gone for a week. The second postponement. His fake work crisis. And August? Did you reschedule for late August? Yes. Her eyes filled with tears. He proposed to me in August. August 15th. At a restaurant downtown. I said yes. We were celebrating our engagement when you were supposed to be getting married. The room tilted. He proposed to her. While engaged to me. He was engaged to both of us. Did you set a wedding date? I asked, dreading the answer. Yes. October 20th. That's my 4th wedding date. The one we have scheduled now. She started crying. Real, body-shaking sobs. I don't understand. Why would he do this? Why string us both along? What was his plan? I think he was buying time. He couldn't marry me because then you'd find out. Couldn't marry you because then I'd find out. So he kept postponing both, kept juggling both of us, hoping he'd figure something out. Or hoping one of us would get tired of waiting and leave. We sat there in that coffee shop for hours. Compared notes. Built a timeline. Figured out his pattern. When he told me he was at his parents', he was with her. When he told her he was traveling for work, he was with me. He had it down to a science. 2 phones, 2 calendars, 2 completely separate lives that somehow never intersected. Until now. What do we do? Jennifer asked. We confront him. Together. Make him face what he's done. When? Now. Tonight. Before he has a chance to come up with more lies. We decided to do it at Jennifer's apartment. The one he shared with her. We wanted him to see both of us together in the place he thought was safe. Jennifer gave me her key. Told me to let myself in at 7. She'd make sure David was there. At 6:55, I stood outside Jennifer's apartment building, shaking. Kate was with me for moral support. You can do this, she said. You deserve answers. I used Jennifer's key to get into the building. Took the elevator to the 3rd floor. Stood outside unit 304. I could hear voices inside. David's voice. Talking about something mundane. Dinner plans maybe. I knocked. The voices stopped. Footsteps approached. David opened the door. The look on his face when he saw me was something I'll never forget. Pure shock. Then panic. Then a desperate scrambling to understand how this was happening. Sarah? What, how, hi, David. My voice was surprisingly steady. I think you know why I'm here. Jennifer appeared behind him. She knows. We both know. He looked between us, his brain clearly trying to formulate the lie that would fix this. The explanation that would make sense of the impossible. "This isn't what it looks like," he started. Jennifer laughed. A harsh, bitter sound. "Really? That's what you're going with? Both of you just let me explain." "Explain what?" I pushed past him into the apartment. Saw it for the first time. Photos of them on the walls. His jacket on a hook. His shoes by the door. A whole life I'd known nothing about. "Explain how you've been living with her while engaged to me? Explain why you postponed our wedding 4 times so you could keep both of us? Explain why you proposed to her while already engaged to me?" He sat down. Put his head in his hands. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. "I never meant for this to happen," he said quietly. "Which part?" Jennifer demanded. "The part where you've been lying to both of us for years? Or the part where you proposed to both of us and planned 2 weddings for the same day? I love both of you. I couldn't choose. So you just didn't?" My voice rose. "You just kept lying and postponing and juggling until what? Until one of us figured it out? Until you could make a decision? What was your endgame, David?" I don't know. I don't know. I thought maybe one of you would get tired of waiting. Would leave. And then I wouldn't have to choose. So you were torturing both of us, making us plan weddings that would never happen, wasting our time and money and emotions, because you're too much of a coward to make a choice?" He looked up at me. "I never wanted to hurt either of you." "But you did," Jennifer said quietly. "You hurt both of us. 4 years. Deliberately." "How long?" I asked. "How long has this been going on?" "What do you mean?" "Jennifer says you've been together 3 years. We've been together for 2.5. So you were already with her when we met. When you accidentally helped me with my computer. When you asked for my number. When you pursued me. You were already living with her." He didn't answer. Didn't need to. The truth was written all over his face. "You were never going to marry me, were you? The postponements weren't about your dad or work or Michelle. They were about her. About not knowing how to be engaged to 2 people at once. I wanted to marry you. Both of you. I couldn't figure out how to have both." "You can't." Jennifer's voice cracked. "That's not how marriage works. You choose one person. You commit to one person." I know. I know. I loved both of you. Love both of you. I couldn't let either of you go." I walked to the door. Turned back. "The wedding is cancelled. The real one this time. I'll be moved out of our apartment by the end of the week. Don't contact me. Don't try to explain. We're done." "Sarah, wait, please, no. I've waited enough. Postponed enough. Believed your lies enough. I'm done." I left. Walked to the elevator on shaking legs. Kate was waiting in the lobby. "How did it go?" He admitted everything. He's been with both of us for years. He was never going to marry me. The postponements were all about buying time while he figured out what to do. "I'm so sorry." "Don't be. You were right. You warned me and I didn't listen. This is on me." "No. This is on him. You were in love. You trusted him. That's not a character flaw." We went back to Kate's apartment. I called in sick to work for the rest of the week. Spent the next few days in a haze of grief and anger and betrayal. Jennifer texted me, "He's gone." I kicked him out. "Are you okay?" "No. But I will be." "You?" "Same. Thank you for finding me. For telling me the truth. I know it couldn't have been easy. Thank you for believing me. For meeting me. We deserved to know. Over the next few weeks, Jennifer and I stayed in contact. Not best friends exactly, but bonded by shared trauma. We compared notes, filled in gaps in each other's timelines, helped each other heal. She told me she'd found evidence he'd done this before. Years ago, with another woman. He'd strung her along, postponed their wedding multiple times, until she'd finally left him. He's a serial postponer, Jennifer said. This is a pattern for him. Why? What's the point? Control, maybe? Attention? Fear of commitment? I don't know. But he's done it before and he'll do it again. We decided to warn his next potential victims. Created a shared document with everything we'd discovered. Dates, lies, patterns. Kept it in case someone else came forward someday. I moved out of the apartment David and I had shared. Moved in with Kate temporarily while I figured out my next steps. Cancelled the wedding vendors for real this time. Some were sympathetic. Some were annoyed they'd been rescheduled so many times. I didn't care anymore. Told everyone what happened. My friends, my coworkers, the wedding guests. Some people were shocked. Some had suspected something was off. Everyone was supportive. David tried to contact me. Emails, texts, calls I didn't answer. Finally he sent a letter to Kate's apartment. Sarah, I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. I know what I did was unforgivable. But I want you to understand that I really did love you. I do love you. I have problems. Issues with commitment, with honesty, with choosing. I'm seeing a therapist now. Trying to figure out why I keep sabotaging relationships. I'm sorry I hurt you. Sorry I wasted your time. You deserved so much better than what I gave you. I read the letter once and threw it away. His problems weren't my responsibility anymore. The grief came in waves. Some days I was fine. Some days I couldn't get out of bed. The betrayal went so deep, it wasn't just that he cheated. It was that my entire relationship had been a lie. Every moment we'd shared, he'd been lying. Every I love you had been said to both of us. I'd thought I was special. Thought I was his one. Turned out I was just one of two. Maybe one of many if his pattern held. Therapy helped. Dr. Martinez was patient and kind and helped me work through the trauma. You're not stupid for trusting him, she said. You're human. And he was good at what he did. He'd practiced. He had it down to a science. How do I trust anyone again? How do I date knowing someone could be lying about everything? Slowly. Carefully. With your eyes open. But also with the understanding that what he did was abnormal. Most people aren't capable of that level of deception. 6 months after everything fell apart, I was doing better. Not great. Not healed. But better. I'd moved into my own apartment. Small but mine. Started dating casually. Nothing serious. Just testing the waters. Jennifer and I met for coffee occasionally. Checked in on each other's healing. Laughed about how we'd both fallen for the same lies. I got a message from his next girlfriend, she told me one afternoon. My stomach dropped. Already? Apparently. She found our document online. Reached out to say thank you for posting it. Said she'd been dating him for 2 months and was starting to notice inconsistencies in his stories. Did she leave him? Immediately. Sent him screenshots of our document and blocked him. Good for her. We saved her from years of what we went through. I thought about that. About the woman I would have been if I'd found a document like ours before getting involved with David. Would I have believed it? Or would I have thought I was special, different, the one who could change him? Probably the latter. Love makes us ignore warnings we'd heed in any other context. A year after the final postponement, I met someone. Marcus. He was patient and kind and understood when I asked a million questions about his life, needed to verify things, struggled with trust. I was in a complicated relationship too, he said on our third date. I get it. Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere. We took things slow. Really, really slow. Months before we were exclusive. More months before I met his family. A year before we moved in together. And when he proposed, 2 years in, I said yes. But we also had a long engagement. Because I needed time to be sure. To trust. To believe this was real and not another elaborate lie. We got married last spring. Small ceremony, just close friends and family. No postponements. No emergencies. No drama. Just 2 people who chose each other, honestly and completely. Jennifer came to the wedding. Brought her boyfriend, a genuinely nice guy she'd been dating for 6 months. We hugged and laughed about how far we'd both come. Did you hear about David? She asked. No. And I don't want to. Fair. But you might want to know this. He got engaged again. 4th time in 5 years. She postponed the wedding twice already. Some people never learn. Him or her? Both, probably. I never heard from David again after that letter. Never wanted to. He was a chapter of my life I'd closed, locked, and buried. For everyone who made it to the end of this story, thank you. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave a comment about where you're watching from and whether you've ever experienced something like this. Here's what I learned: postponement is sometimes just postponement. Life happens. Emergencies occur. People get sick. Work crises emerge. That's normal. But when postponement becomes a pattern, when excuses pile up, when stories don't match, when your gut tells you something's wrong, listen. Pay attention. Ask questions. Verify. I ignored so many red flags because I wanted to believe in the fairy tale. The rom-com meet cute. The romantic proposal in Italy. The perfect love story. But real love doesn't require constant postponement. Real love doesn't hide. Real love doesn't live in 2 apartments with 2 different women. Real love doesn't propose to 2 people at once. David postponed our wedding 4 times. 4 times I called vendors, explained to guests, lost deposits, cried myself to sleep. 4 times I believed his lies because I wanted to believe in us. The truth came out in one coffee shop meeting with the other woman he'd been deceiving. One conversation that shattered my entire reality but also saved me from a lifetime of lies. I'm grateful I found out when I did. Before the wedding actually happened. Before we had kids. Before I wasted more years on someone who was never really mine. Jennifer and I joke sometimes about writing a book. The Serial Postponer's Handbook, How to Spot the Red Flags. We probably won't. But it's nice to know we helped save at least one other woman from what we went through. I'm married now to someone who shows up. Who doesn't lie. Who doesn't need to postpone or delay or juggle multiple lives because he chose me. Just me. Honestly and completely. Our wedding happened on the date we planned. No postponements. No emergencies. No drama. Just 2 people making a commitment they actually intended to keep. That's what I deserved all along. And I'm so grateful I didn't settle for anything less. The wedding was postponed 4 times. The first postponement might have been legitimate, I'll never know for sure. But the second, third, and fourth were all about David's double life. About him buying time to juggle 2 women, 2 apartments, 2 completely separate existences. He wasn't postponing because of his father's health or work crises or family emergencies. He was postponing because he couldn't figure out how to be engaged to 2 women at once. Because he was a coward who couldn't choose and couldn't let either of us go. And when the truth came out, when Jennifer and I compared notes and realized what he'd done, it all made sense. Every cancelled wedding date. Every last-minute emergency. Every vague excuse about privacy and family business. It was all lies. Every word of it. I spent months thinking something was wrong with me. That I'd done something to make him keep postponing. That I wasn't enough. That if I was just more patient, more understanding, more supportive, he'd finally commit. But it was never about me. It was about him and his pathological inability to be honest. His need to keep his options open. His willingness to destroy two people's lives rather than make a choice. I'm not bitter anymore. Took a while to get here, but I'm genuinely not. Because that year of postponements, as painful as it was, saved me from something worse. It saved me from actually marrying him. From building a life with someone who was living a double life. From wasting decades instead of just years. The fourth postponement was supposed to be in October. Our final wedding date. The one David swore nothing would interfere with. But in September, I found out the truth. In September, Jennifer and I met and compared notes and blew his whole double life wide open. That wedding never happened. Neither did his wedding to Jennifer, which was scheduled for the same day. Instead, two women walked away from a serial liar and started rebuilding their lives. And a year later, both of us were happier than we'd ever been with him. Sometimes postponements are blessings in disguise. Sometimes the wedding that doesn't happen is the best thing that could have happened. I thought I was losing my happily ever after when David postponed our wedding 4 times. Turns out I was just clearing space for the real one. Thank you for listening to my story. For sitting with me through all the lies and betrayals and painful revelations. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more real stories about surviving the unimaginable. Comment where you're from and whether any of this resonated with you. My wedding was postponed 4 times. And I've never been more grateful for anything in my life. Because those postponements saved me. They gave me time to see the truth. They prevented me from making the biggest mistake of my life. The truth came out. It always does eventually. And when it did, I was free. Free from the lies. Free from the manipulation. Free from a man who could look me in the eye and tell me he loved me while saying the same thing to someone else. I'm married now. Happily. Actually happily. To someone who chose me on the first date and keeps choosing me every single day. Someone who didn't postpone our wedding even once. Someone who showed up. That's the ending I deserved. And I'm so glad I didn't settle for anything less.